Javian lives his life as a female. Javian goes by Jaybies online. I wrote his name down on the birth certificate. His name is Javian. I told him not to come around me dressed as a woman.
I had a collection of Barbie dolls, and my mom found them up under my bed, and she threw them all away.
One of the biggest things that I have an issue with is him being kind of provocative. I've seen him twerking. I've seen some videos that I thought were very unbecoming. I feel as though he doesn't have to stoop that low in order to get attention online. This new persona that he has just gives off sassy, ratchet, angry black woman, and I'm just not digging it. I've seen videos of him just acting like a stripper. He's better than that. We have physically fought. We've had a lot of verbal altercations. It can get really heated because Javian can get really disrespectful. I've said some things to him that I regret, like you should have been aborted. I have said to him, don't catch AIDS and die. He tried to make it seem as if I said catch AIDS and die. That's not the case. I'm telling him, do not catch AIDS and die. I actually told him to move out because Javian has had an issue when it comes to schooling. Just about every school that he has been to, he's been expelled from for behavior issues. So we were on our last straw. If Javian decided to have a sex change and present himself as a woman, I will always, until the day I die, recognize Javian as my son. So I'm hoping old Doc got the answer, because I don't have it, but I'm searching for it.
What is your concern?
I'm very concerned that with his behavior and him identifying with as a woman, that it could lead to dismemberment.
Your child was born with male genitalia, and so you say that's the definition, and that's not going to change. And so all of this other that is being experienced is just a mental illness or a delusion or a distortion, or what is it? What do you think?
I just recently got my bachelor's in psychology, and I have been taught that it's gender dysphoria. I do believe that it may be a form of mental illness. It's not just that he was born male. I mean, he is a male. He was born with male parts. He is a male. And I'm just not going to feed into the delusion that a man is a woman.
You know, Cleveland Clinic did a study on transgender brains, and when they did the study, they found that the brain of transgender people, their brain is actually more similar to the gender they identify with than the gender that they were assigned at birth. I mean, it's an actual brain difference.
Okay, but I don't think, and I think that that's a mental health issue. I could
well, no,
say
that's a neurological fact.
Okay, and I could say that I identify as a rich white woman right here on your stage, and I'm not white. So identifying as something is totally different, right, from what's actually factual. I think that this is something that's just being pushed as an agenda.
There are 50 years of empirical evidence here, and there are distinct differences in the transgender brain versus the non-transgender brain. So are you asking him to ignore that, to ignore his brain and what filter the world runs through for him?
Well, regardless of the brain, the body there are only two bodies. You've got a male body or you have a female body. You have male genitalia or you have female genitalia. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on in our brain, but
and
even
part of that body is the brain, right?
Yeah.
And Jaybies' brain is telling all of the sensations, all of the experiences that the filters that this is a female experience.
But he is not a female.
If the brain is filtering things in such a way that that's the fit, then what should Jaybies say?
Here's the thing. Javian is an adult now, right? And I think that Javian is able to make his own decisions. But as a parent, there is no one on this earth that is going to be able to convince me that my son is a woman. It's just impossible.
I don't think my mother is very accepting of me or my lifestyle. I would technically identify under the queer or questioning. The Q can kind of go both ways. As long as I can remember, I've always been called like gay or like queer or like a or stuff like that. I didn't want to play sports. I wanted to play with Barbies. I like long hair. I like pretty lashes. I like things that come in pink. I just like pretty things. I think it bothered my mom that my entire life I was different. I think my mother is a huge bigot. If it's not Angela's way, it's just completely wrong. Angela pushes her conservative agenda down everybody's throat. She wants to choke people on her beliefs. If you're not agreeing with what she agrees with, then your opinion doesn't matter. My mom has called me the worst of the worst. You're going to hell, you're gonna die of AIDS. She can be extremely intolerant to other people's opinions and how they feel. And even on her social media, she's showcased her bigoted ways very clearly. I actually have turned me being a live streamer into a very lucrative 6-figure career. I'm pretty sure Angela probably is ashamed of me, but I don't care. I'm ashamed of a lot of the things she does as well. We're probably an embarrassment to each other. Hi,
Hello, how are you? Have a seat. Your mother and I have had some difference of opinion already.
I can probably guess what she said.
Yeah. Now, you say that sometimes your mother is supportive of you. She says things to you that are supportive, but then she reverses her field and doesn't behave that way, and has made really negative tweets and statements publicly.
Yeah, it's very up and down, up and down. Like one day it's, I love you and I'm not gonna hurt you no more. And then the next day it's the random tweets or you see me dressed up. I've been, you know, playing in makeup since I was like 13. This isn't anything new, so.
Well, some of the tweets that you've posted, you said, if you want a little boy to look like a woman, you might just be a pedophile and don't know it.
It's because there's a trending thing online that says boys can be princesses too. And in this thing, you see little boys dressed up as grown women. They've got on gowns, they got on heels, they got on lipstick. Me, I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. Anytime I've ever put on a gown and high heels and lipstick, it's because I was trying to be sexy or have some sort of sex appeal. It's something that women do. So to suggest that a little boy, and it clearly says little boy, 5, 6, or 7 years old should be walking around dressed up like a grown woman, and if you look at it and like it, you might just be a pedophile and don't know it.
LGBTQIA defines adults by their sexual preference. Now they're trying to convince us that it's okay to look and define children the same way. You a lie. I refuse to look at a child and tie them to a sexual preference or desire.
Exactly. Each one of those letters represents a sexuality. We should not be sexualizing children. I don't want to lose my son.
Do you think your child has the right to self-define, to have a mind not controlled by mother?
He absolutely has a right to do that, but he also has a right to respect me as his parent. And it's not about hate, it's love. I just don't have to accept my son as a woman.
It is hate. I think it's hate.
You believe it's hate because I'm not doing what you want me to do.
It's not about you doing what... It's not about at all about you doing what I want you to do.
Have I ever told you that I hated you?
It's about, you might as well have.
Okay.
So let's take the whole dressing as a woman thing out of it. Let's say that I was sitting across from you, the perfect son you could have imagined. Some of the things you have said to me are hateful.
You're living a promiscuous lifestyle.
She said to you, I hope you burn in hell.
Yeah.
When I said that?
She said you're gonna burn in hell.
When did I say that?
Several times. I have the text messages.
Please show the text message. I've never said that.
Has she said you'll end up dead just like your father?
She did say that.
That's not what I said, B.
She did.
Quote it.
By the way, I'm very sorry for your loss, both of you.
Thank you.
She isn't sorry for my loss. My dad was brutally murdered. If we're gonna talk about it, let's go ahead and talk about it. My dad was brutally murdered. He was shot in the head. When he got shot in the head, he hit the pedal on the gas. The car crashed. My dad burned alive in a car. 2 days after this, my mother was on social media. A person of some famous stature had tweeted some condolences about my dad. Angela then goes on her Instagram. We good, we don't need your condolences.
What I came here for, right, is for us to try to find some type of peace and solace to be able to move forward.
Peace and solace of what?
First, we have to be honest.
I quite frankly don't think you care about me.
First, we have to be honest.
Nothing,
I don't think you care about me.
Can I get a turn to speak?
I don't think you care about me.
You just contradicted yourself. You said, if he wants to be gay, I can accept that. If he wants to dress as a woman, I can accept that. But you just earlier said, no,
so
if he's going to come around me, he needs to dress.
I didn't say I can accept that. I said, you want me to accept that? I said, okay. I said, and then now this. I didn't say I accept it. I'll never accept him acting as a woman because he's not a woman. I don't have to live in that delusion.
You understand.
What makes you a woman?
Because I want to be one.
So I want to be a billionaire. I want to be his wife.
Work to be
Can I be your wife?
Got one, thank you.
Oh, okay. Tell me how you're a woman.
I don't need to. I don't need validation from you or anybody else. You can't name one time I've ever asked you to call me a woman.
You can't, because you know I'm not.
But I didn't ask you to.
Okay, don't.
You know why? Because I don't need that validation from you as a human being.
Great.
Angela is gaslighting to her conservative people who agree with her, and she's gaslighting and she's trying to make it seem as if, oh my God, I just want Javian to respect himself, and I don't want Javian to do this, and you know, him dressing like a girl, and you're making about this whole sexuality thing, which it is not.
It is for me.
Okay, that's what it's about.
Okay. He's the one that actually wants to encourage his LGBTQ PIA plus base.
We don't need your approval.
No, it's about
you. We
you.
don't want it.
It's not them.
I don't want your approval.
You'll never have it.
I don't need it.
You won't get it.
I don't need it.
You won't get
I'm
it, sir.
a full, complete
You won't
human
get
being.
it, sir.
And
You won't
I don't
get
need it, ma'am.
I have 3 sons.
Who all
You
have
have
had
one
issues
mother.
with
You
all have
can't
had
speak
issues
for
with
them.
I would
You've
rather
got
be
one
motherless
mother.
10 times over than deal with a toxic
I
parent.
would rather have
I would
the
rather
2
have
sons
my
that I
father
have
be
than
in the
one that's
grave.
mentally
I would rather
incapable
have
of
my
making a
father be in the
decision as
grave,
to
and I
whether
would
he's a
rather
man
not
or a
have a
woman.
relationship
y'all know.
with you.
Well, too
Hold
bad.
on,
Be toxic.
stop
Too bad.
talking.
Oh,
You didn't hear this, but I had a conversation with your mother before you came out,
Tell me
and
about
she
it.
said, you know, what is this that my son thinks he wants to be a woman? And I said, well, you know, interestingly, there's a very serious study by the Cleveland Clinic that has done MRI scans on transgender persons that has determined that the brain of a transgender person is much more similar in function and profile if you are a transgender woman, that your brain is much more aligned functionally with a straight female than it is
But
with
if
a
you
male.
don't mind me saying something really quickly on behalf of my community,
Why you feel like you gotta speak
excuse
for
me,
your
I don't need you to
Speak
interrupt
for
me.
yourself. I'm not up here speaking
I'm
for
speaking
Trump.
for myself.
You hear what your
and my
mom
community.
trying to work out.
Because when I hear an
And that's
ignorant
the
bigot,
thing.
I feel the need
That's the
to
thing.
speak
That's
for
the
myself
thing.
and my
And
community.
you're only a
Can
bigot when you
please
don't
not
agree
interrupt
that a
me?
man
I haven't
can't
got a chance
become
to
a
talk
woman.
for 5 seconds.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
a bigot and you're
I haven't had a
mentally
chance to
ill,
talk.
Okay,
son.
let her-
You are
let-
mentally
come on.
ill,
That's
son.
allow-
You're mentally ill,
I'm
son.
rich
and
as
you
You
well.
and I are
I'm
having
doing
a
great.
If you rich,
conversation.
why you sitting up here with tissue in your bra?
I don't have tissue in my bra.
You don't have tissue in your bra.
No, I don't. You want
Okay.
to look at it?
You're
and
right.
see?
Okay.
So if I could get
You're
a chance
right.
to
Please,
speak for a
Then
second.
you
allow
want me
this-
to sit on this stage and be convinced that I'm sitting here talking to a man and it's
She's
my
gonna
son
embarrass
sitting
herself.
right
Go right
across
No,
ahead.
from
but I
me.
do want you to respect
Franks
my.
and
I do
beans.
want you to respect my right to finish this conversation
Okay,
string
go ahead.
here. I'll let you speak without interruption.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Angela, for me, is a brick wall. Like, if you don't agree with what she agrees with, it's very hard getting through. I've been trying to do this for 13 years. Imagine what you can do in 40 minutes. And this is all respect to you. I feel like in order for you to help people, people have to want to be helped. So just speaking for myself, it's a lot less about the science of who I am and as far as my DNA, who I am. You don't have to like me or agree what I do, but as a human being, respect is all it really calls for. You don't have to think I'm a woman. That's cool, that's fine. You can think I'm mentally ill, that's cool, that's
I
fine.
know you're mentally ill.
What I was telling
So
you
again, we
is that I
pushing
was
liberal
explaining to her
agendas.
that this is
If
not
I
a
had
mental
known
illness,
that I
that
was
there's
gonna come on
actually
this show and have a doctor
differences
try to
within the
convince my
body
son that he's
for
a woman,
someone
I
that
would've
feels the
never
way
came.
you do. It's not just in your
Got it.
mind.
But
It's
regardless,
fine.
we have to take a
again,
break.
I've been attacked for my social media. I've been attacked for being, a black Republican. I've been attacked for supporting the president that I choose to support. I thought that was all about American freedom. The attacks are not gonna sway my belief. I mean, I just don't believe that a man can never become a woman or that a woman can never become a man. It's just, I don't see gorillas out there doing it. I don't see dogs out there doing it. It's just not a part of nature.
Well, Jaybies says her relationship with her mom has been destroyed
her?
forever
Me.
because of
Him.
Angela's conservative beliefs.
Mark.
And while Jaybies knows that she was no saint growing
Your
up,
name
she
is
says her
Jaybies.
mom
Jaybies.
Whatever.
was demonic. Now, Jaybies' youngest sister Imani says that she's bearing the brunt of Angela's explosive anger. Listen to what she has to say.
I've witnessed a lot of fighting throughout the years between my mother and my brother. And somehow his sexuality was always brought up. My mother is disappointed in how he is presented on the internet. So my mother saw Jaybies twerking, and she texted the entire family and basically told us not to support his behavior on the internet. My mother has called my brother derogatory terms in terms of his sexuality as a way to almost condemn his behavior. So my mom is a conservative and she is on the Trump train. We got in a disagreement about abortion and she smacked me because she thought that I was being disrespectful in our conversation about it. She does have an issue with small children being exposed to the gay lifestyle. My mom is worried that I'm influenced by my brother's way of thinking, and she's worried that it would rub off on me and that I'll adopt the same mindset. My mom has been an emotional bully to us in the past. She'll tell me that she's the only person that loves me or she's the only person that ever cared for me. My mom will argue with anybody in the family, regardless of if they're a bad child or a good child. She will argue with anyone.
Well, Imani, thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you.
I'm so glad that you're here. You're kind of caught up in this whirlwind of all this conversation and debate.
Right.
And I'm sure you've been listening to some of this. If you've been within a mile of the stage, you couldn't help but hear it. What did you want to add to all this?
So I just want to bring it back to the central focus of that this is a parent-child relationship. So regardless of how my brother identifies, he is still a human being. And there's no reason, there's no circumstance that I can ever think of on this entire earth for someone to use the passing of someone's parent as a way to condemn their lifestyle. Regardless if there was an argument, whatever names have been called, whatever has happened in the past, that is a line that you simply cannot cross.
I think you should sit over here. You're articulating this very well, and nobody interrupted you. I don't know. So that's great.
So I have to say something.
You said that since your mom got on the Trump train that they've had problems. What do you mean?
Wait a minute, don't say anything. Hold on. First of all, let me clarify something. I think that it's disrespectful to imply that as a Black woman, I can't decide who I want to support when it comes to politics. And I think that this whole issue about being Black and supporting Trump, I have my reasons why I chose to, excuse me, because y'all keep pushing this issue. Javian mentioned it about me being a Trump supporter. She mentioned it about me being a Trump supporter. And here's the thing. If Javian is saying that he wants me to accept the fact that he's LGBTQA in his community, then that kind of goes both ways. You have to accept the fact that I supported a pro-life president. You have to accept the fact
when have you
that
ever seen
I
me
chose to
be... please let her finish.
Online. They got the video. I sent it in. When you were online talking about me, you said I'm a dumb Trump supporting bitch. That's what you said. To be condemned for supporting the candidate of your choice, I don't believe in killing babies.
Imagine being condemned for loving the person of your choice.
Transitioning children. It's not about loving the person of your choice. It's about your behavior, and it's about the fact that you want to force me to believe that the son that I gave birth to is a woman. I don't feel like I have to partake in that delusion.
That's not what this is about.
Excuse me, I'm not done.
You have to be done at some point. You have to let someone else speak.
Regardless of
why are you talking about it?
Regardless of if you believe Jaybies is a woman or not, it's about the respect that you can have.
You want me to lie to myself?
You don't know. It's not about that. It's about how you use his sexuality to condemn him. That's not okay.
Well, Ashley Marie Preston is a cultural commentator, trans activist, and first trans woman to become editor-in-chief of a national publication, and first openly trans person to run for state office in California. Now, she says Angela's fear of seeing Jaybies with a handbag is going to put Jaybies in a body bag. And the reason that she's saying this, in my opinion, is really just looking at the statistics of the pressure and the depression and the high suicide rate among those that live in this community. And she's joining us now. Thank you so much for being here again. It's been a while since I've seen you.
Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to all of this. Help us out here, Ashley Marie.
I think it's heartbreaking all the way across the board. because Angela may not know this, but I know that she started following me in 2018. So part of me knows that despite what she's saying about how she's not gonna be convinced otherwise, she is invested in understanding not just her daughter, but the,
What daughter?
the
Imani?
transgender community.
What
you
daughter?
may be able to dominate the dialogue, but you will
But
not
what
control
daughter?
the
But
outcome
what
of the
daughter?
message that we
What
spread
daughter?
today.
You cannot yell people down and win
It's not
a
yelling
particular
people
point.
down.
You
It's
have
the
to
fact that you
allow
brought
other
somebody on
people.
this show that's gonna try to tell me my son is
They're
a
not
woman.
even- they're
My
not
son
even
is
dealt
not a
with the fact-
woman,
No,
and I'm
Monty,
gonna stand
no.
on that. You can get all the transgenders in the world. He's not a woman.
If you're secure in your belief, let someone else speak. You're being very disrespectful.
But you want me to listen to
I'm not
somebody
asking
that's
you to
telling
do
me my
anything
son is a
except allow
woman.
someone
That's
else to speak.
disrespectful.
Please hear me, because believe it or not, contrary to what you may think or believe, I'm rooting for both of you. I am invested in the relationship that you have with your daughter because according to
Well, you can't
a survey,
be. You can't be
according
because
to,
hold on. You can't be interested in me and him having a relationship because first you're disrespecting me as a parent.
I am not disrespecting
I
you.
feel as though
I am
you
not
are.
disrespecting you.
Because
I gave
let
you
me-
credit
hold
for
on.
your
No,
for what you're doing.
No.
No, you're not
When you
going
tell
to.
me
You try
that
to
this is
bully
my
and
daughter,
bulldoze through
when you tell me that this is my daughter,
You're bulldozing.
that's
I'm not
disrespectful.
telling you anything.
That's
I'm
disrespectful.
acknowledging who she is.
You're not-
I'm
but
not.
she's
Me
not a
calling
woman.
her
Girl,
is
she
about
is
honoring
crazy.
and respecting her personhood.
You're irrelevant. I came here to see Dr. Phil. That doesn't matter to me.
Parenting, can we please
So
steer the
according to,
conversation?
I wanted to
Go
let this
ahead.
one out.
I
Okay.
asked you to come here,
Okay.
and I'm going to give you the respect that you
Okay.
deserve. I asked you to come here, and I'm not going to let you get shouted down. Say what you would like to say.
So according to a study that was done by the National Center for Transgender Equality and the National LGBTQ Task Force, so when there is a parent or parents or loved ones in the home who do not support the identity of the transgender individual, 51% have attempted suicide, 48% have become homeless, 47% have become addicted to drugs and substances, and 29% have actually had to engage in sex work.
You're not going to guilt me into accepting him as a woman because you feel like if he makes a bad decision, that it's going to be my fault.
No.
If he were to listen to me, I wouldn't have to worry about those things because let's talk about some of those numbers that you mentioned. Even when Joe Biden, during his presidential debate, was talking about legalizing young children transitioning, he said his reason was because so many transgender women of color had been murdered. And he said, I think the number now is up to 17. Now, as a leader in the Black community, there are thousands of Black men that have been murdered. But you won't hear Joe Biden talk about that because those Black men did not have a wig on. So I'm not going to elevate,
This
excuse
is
me,
not
I'm not
about
done.
politics.
I'm not going to elevate,
never
I'm not
done.
going to
This is
elevate
not-
the issue of transgenderism over Black men because at the end of the day, y'all still Black men.
Gender identity is who I go to bed as, and sexual orientation is who I go to bed with. So the fact that you're making assumptions about children's genitals or your child's genitals, that is way out of bounds. At this moment, you have a decision to make as to whether you're willing to do the internal work to silence that inner critic that's making you force your children to carry your shame.
Okay, no, we
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
From my understanding, Javian likes to dress up. He likes the way that he transformed. I mean, I've seen pictures of Javian, and he is absolutely stunning. I've been taken aback by some of the photos that I've seen because he was so beautiful. He always looked like his mom, kind of like my twin. I don't know what I'm seeing, man. That's why I'm here today. Maybe you guys can help me figure it out.
Okay, Angela says that Jaybies has warped Imani's mind into thinking
I said
dressing
I'm
like a
concerned about the
female
influence.
is okay. You're concerned about the influence,
Yes.
right? And does she need to be concerned about influence here? You seem to be very self-possessed.
Smart as one.
Right. I am very outspoken and very opinionated in my own right about things like gender identity and how she should parent because bullying your children emotionally and calling them all types of names is not preparing your child for life. That's only going to damage them. And I don't understand why, as a parent, you cannot realize that fact.
So I would say that you have done very extremely well. I've raised you on my own. Children are different, okay? You and Javian were not the same children, okay? Y'all didn't have the same struggles. Y'all didn't have the same issue. So your upbringing is gonna be different.
I do want to acknowledge that you've done a lot of things right, and I say that because sitting next to you is a very fine example. It's doing very well, as you say. I think I would say the same thing sitting across from you here. There are a lot of really fine qualities here that you have to respect. There's a strength of character here, a conviction, and a lot of this strength has to come from the role model that you provided of conviction and standing up for yourself. You've done a lot of things right along the way, and I hope you're proud of that, and I hope you're proud of a lot of the strength and conviction that you see sitting next to you and across from you. I hope that, as Ashley Marie is saying, that you would want to be a source of strength for both of your children, whether these two children, whether that you agreed with everything either of them chose in their lives or whether you didn't.
This show isn't about, I don't love you. I love you.
I don't think
Well,
so.
you don't have to, but I'm telling you. So you will hear it from me, and so the whole world will hear it. I love my son, Jaybies. And what I want you to understand is that so this is what you don't get. I think that
I'm the one that don't get it.
I think that these feelings are going both ways. I
No.
think that you feel like you don't have a mom, and I feel like I don't have a son. When you are telling me that this is you now, you don't understand that I want my son. Like, you're taking somebody away from me. You don't want to be my son, but you want me to be your mother.
I don't want you to be my mother at this point.
But I still want you to be my son.
Wow.
So then make the necessary changes to make it that way.
So
It's
change
that
it.
simple.
What changes
Go
are
to
gonna be
therapy.
made?
Maybe stop trying to bulldoze us and dismiss our emotions like you have done on this stage.
It's not about trying to bulldoze you or dismiss
do
your
it every
emotions. It's the
time.
fact that I'm not gonna let anybody tell me that my son is a woman.
It's outside
You
of that.
bulldoze. You even with me.
I've never
you
asked her
bulldoze
to call
just
me a
like you
woman, and that's
bulldoze
one of her
him.
main argument points. She can't name
You
one
just told
time
me to
I've
call
ever
you
asked her to
Jaybies.
call
Who
me.
is Jaybies?
Jaybies, that's my name. That's what I go by.
Did you change it legally?
I'm about to.
Okay.
You wanted to say something?
Yes. So what I wanted to say was, Angela can sit across from me right now and try to make up whatever excuse in the world she could want to for me and her relationship. Let's give it to her for argument's sake. I was a horrible child. Angela has 4 other children who she has all gotten into it with.
They're not here.
Who she has all
They're not here.
had they wrote
let
statements.
this
I'm
child,
here.
let them speak for themselves. You can't speak for them.
Okay, so there's an old saying where there's smoke, there's a fire. If Jay was the problem, Jay wants to be respected as a woman. Jay is an issue. Jay is disrespectful. Take Jay out of it. Jay was the problem.
Right.
Angela has had some type of emotional trauma or issues
First
with
of all,
of her
let
children.
me say something. As
I'm
a
not the
parent
only
that
one.
has raised children on her own for
So
20
if you
years,
wanna
there
say
are
I'm the
going to be
problem,
some
what's the problem
instances
with them?
when you and your children don't
Everybody's
get
the problem
along.
but you.
Why are you trying to make
Comedy
it
dominated.
seem like this has been every single day of our lives? You all are taking instances
No, but it
when,
has been
excuse
repetitive.
me, I'm raising children. There are issues. When you raise 3 teenage boys, by yourself, there are issues. So we have had to address issues
What's
as a
Imani issue?
family.
Issue.
If anybody in here is a parent,
She
tell me that
threatens my
you have not had
education.
issues.
Literally, as a punishment,
Yeah.
she threatens my education.
No, I told you I was
she
gonna
threatens,
withdraw you out of
She
school.
threatened to withdraw me from school as punishment.
I did.
She threatened
Not
to
as
withdraw me
punishment.
from
Not
withdraw
as
me from my
punishment.
debate council as punishment.
Not as punishment.
She has taken my technology and made me take late penalties because she didn't want to give me my computer to do my homework.
I thank you for your comments.
That's what you're
I thank
talking
you for
about.
your comments. Would you like to make a final comment?
I've talked to so many mothers of deceased Black trans women who ask themselves and sit around wondering what they could have did different to bring their baby back. And the miracle in this moment is that you don't have to wonder. If you have an open heart and an open mind, you have the capacity to build something much stronger than it was before. And so I really just ask Angela to really just look within herself, recommit to that bond that she has as a mother the first day they brought her child home and placed her in her arms, and think about what she wants the future outcome to be.
Who is her?
Yeah. I couldn't,
one thing,
I
who
couldn't
is
say
never
that.
gonna go
I couldn't
out
say
of
that
it?
any
I'm
better.
not.
You always stay calm with a clear message. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to be supportive of this platform. So. I want to thank all of my guests today, and a very special thanks to you, to trans activist Ashley Marie Preston. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. Thanks for being here.
Will she accept her son?
I don't want your approval.
You won't get it, sir.
As a woman?
You want to force me to believe that the son that I gave birth to is a woman. That's not what... Excuse me, I'm not done.
Well, you have to be done at some point. You have to let someone else speak.
New Dr. Phil. Check your local listings.